Thank you for joining us at the fire. My name is Ben. To my left is the lovely Jillian.
Hi.
Or you can talk for yourself.
I like being called lovely.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll leave it at that. This episode is all about the paranormal. Not the paranormal like ghost hunters and all that
Oh, darn.
hooky dooky bullshit. This is about real world occurrences that have happened around us in our physical world. They've baffled researchers, professionals, everybody that studied them, fellow Reddit users like ourselves. These stories, they'll really stick with you. They're really kind of puzzling, and if they don't give you nightmares, you'll at least be, scratching your head thinking about what really went on here.
So yeah, today we have stories that will have all of you hypochondriacs out there making appointments for your next CT scans. We're also going to share the legend behind the hottest island to visit in Mexico for your next vacay inspo.
So creepy. Anyone that's ever taken a psychology course, when you're studying mental illness, you sort of have that panic that you hear a disorder and it is so congruent with how your own mind works, and you sort of start to sympathize with this disease, and you're like, oh my God, I think I have that thing.
Yes. It's happened to me many times.
Exactly. It happens to all of us. And sometimes you fantasize, what would I do if I started having these symptoms? What would you do if you started hearing voices in your head? Would you listen to them? Or would you ignore them completely? What if they were trying to save your life?
Please don't be afraid. I know. It must be shocking to hear me speaking to you like this. But this is the easiest way I could think of. My friend and I used to work at the Children's Hospital, Great Ormond Street, and we would like to help you.
That was the first time she heard it. On a typical winter day in 1984, while at home reading, Anne was startled by a voice. There wasn't anyone around, and what she had heard sounded nothing like her husband. She claimed there was a voice coming from within her own head.
To help you see that we are sincere, we would like you to check into the following.
The voice left her with 3 separate statements that sounded like they had been read out of a textbook or brochure, almost factual. She later discovered everything stated by the voice was accurate. Anne believed these facts were not something she had previously learned and hidden away unconsciously to only reveal in this bizarre manner. Feeling as though she had suddenly gone mad, it's not difficult to imagine Anne was anxious to visit her doctor. After she explained what had occurred, she was referred to a specialist, Dr. Aswani, whose diagnosis was a functional hallucinatory psychosis. He offered general supportive counseling and prescribed an antipsychotic designed to help treat schizophrenia. Anne was relieved when the voice failed to return in the following weeks. She was feeling as though the medication was working and felt well enough to travel out of town, going on vacation for the holidays. During that time, still continuing to take the medication, the voice returned and urged her to get home immediately.
Something is not right.
Not long after arriving back in London, the voice began instructing Anne on what to do next. She was provided with an unfamiliar address and was ordered to pay a visit. Since the voice had not yet provided any incorrect information, she complied, and her husband drove the two of them out to the mysterious location. It wasn't far, but the area was unfamiliar to both Anne and her husband. When they arrived, they found themselves in front of a large hospital, specifically the computerized tomography wing.
Walk inside and request a CT scan. For 2 reasons, you must do this. On the surface of your brain is a cancerous tumor, growing larger in size. Your brainstem has become inflamed. Treatment is the only option.
Without any physical signs, symptoms, or clinical evidence of an actual brain tumor, the physicians declined her request for the procedure, even with the recommendation of her doctor. At the time, such an investigation would have proven too expensive to justify, given the unusual circumstances. Anne returned to Dr. Aswani, clearly distressed and becoming desperate for proper medical care. Dr. Aswani began negotiations with the large London hospital. He argued that the procedure would at least give Anne peace of mind and would put an end to the entire ordeal. Soon enough, the brain imaging staff agreed, and an appointment was scheduled for later that spring. The initial findings, later that April, prompted a second, more sophisticated procedure that would provide the doctors with an enhanced image, more detailed than what they had already seen. The second scan uncovered a left posterior frontal parafalcine mass with all the characteristics of a meningioma, a 2.5 by 1.5 inch brain tumor at the rear of the frontal lobe. The consulting neurosurgeon offered the option to operate immediately in order to remove the mass as soon as possible. Considering the absence of every obvious symptom, headache, and any other neurological signal, Anne and her husband discussed the benefits and risks involved with the operation. Anne chose to undergo immediate surgery. The voices confirmed she had made the right decision. The tumor was successfully removed, and Anne has since remained symptom-free and free from the voice. Soon after the surgery, Anne confided in Dr. Aswani during one of their many discussions about the voice. They were debating the supernatural possibilities surrounding the entire situation. The theory that the voice was nothing more than a side effect caused by the tumor was brought up. Anne claimed that after she awoke from the operation, she regained consciousness and heard the voice speak one final time.
We are pleased to have helped you. Goodbye.
Never have I ever wanted to go for a preventative healthcare check so badly.
It really does make your head hurt a little bit.
Well, it's like, how many times are you just kind of sitting at your desk at work or your table or just walking around?
Every time
feel
you get a
little
weird
pain.
headache. Yeah.
I know, it really makes me think hard about not going to my eye doctor. I haven't been to the eye doctor in forever.
Why wouldn't you want to go to the eye doctor? He would help you find things like this.
I know, exactly.
Preventative care is a good thing.
I know, exactly. This is a good reminder.
Yeah.
It's a very good reminder.
Yeah, it's interesting. This story is legit. The names have sort of been changed. Dr. Aswani is a real guy, and he published a paper all about this, with the patient's consent, of course, in the 90s. They actually went on to present it at a conference for some, I don't know, medical party. I bet that's a real rager. But yeah, they had people, they offered people to ask questions. She took questions. I guess after the fact, Dr. Aswani said there were mostly two camps of thought. The people that thought that this was some psychic entity that was aware of the tumor and was warning this woman about it.
That's my vote.
They refer to her in the paper as AB. The second camp of thought pretty much thought that she had known about it previously and just invented this whole story to get treatment under some like British healthcare law, but she had lived in the city for nearly, I think, 20, 30 years at the time. So she didn't move there for the healthcare or anything.
Wow, I would never have been so cynical to think that she would have just invented the whole story.
Right.
But I get that's a very good point.
Dr. Aswani believes that pretty much, even though there were no symptoms, he thinks she was somehow subconsciously aware, and her mind was taking in this extra information that she was not consciously aware of, like names of hospitals and where the CT center was and all these things. And it just, her mind manifested that information as this, you know,
Very creepy voice.
this angelic voice. Yeah. Well, or really, yeah.
Angelic.
Yeah.
Your voice
This
was
very
very
soothing
angelic.
and
It was. I just want to listen. I wish it would whisper me to sleep every night. Wow. Yeah, that story really
it
makes you
actually
think.
occurred. It's hard to think somebody would make something up like that, especially a woman in her like 40s.
Right.
I don't know.
So, I don't have something that's going to make you want to rush out to the emergency room right away to share. But I do have a story about a fun place you can visit the next time you need a break from reality.
Ooh, how fun is it? Are we talking like circus fun with a bunch of clowns, or is it like ice cream and fudge fun?
No, it's nothing like ice cream and clowns. It's more like stepping into a child's haunted toy chest. Don Julian Santana Barrera was the caretaker of an island in Mexico. According to the legend, Julian found a little girl drowned in the river under mysterious circumstances. He visited the river the next day to mourn her death, and he found a doll floating near the canal. Thinking the doll had belonged to the little girl, he picked it up and hung it in the tree. This was supposed to show respect to the spirit of the child. Julian started experiencing hauntings from the little girl, so he would hang more dolls around the island in order to keep her spirit peaceful and at rest. But one day, Julian started to go mad. The hauntings on the island continued for years, and he made the realization that he was not only being haunted by the little girl that he found drowned in the river, but he was being possessed by many children. The only conclusion was, each doll that he hung around the island possessed a spirit of a young child. The dolls continued to hang, and Julian was eventually driven to his death. He was found by his family one day, drowned in the same spot where the little girl had died years earlier. The island is seen as a destination where the restless souls of little girls wander, with the population growing every time a new doll is added to the collection.
Just by looking at the pictures of this place,
Doesn't it look fun?
I doubt, though, that they do it justice. It has to be extremely fucking creepy in person.
Oh, duh, yeah, really creepy in person. I am getting kind of the chills just looking at the pictures. It makes me wonder how many of these were put there by Julian, how many were put there by visitors, and do people bring the most fucked up dolls that they can find on purpose?
Yeah, it sort of looks like it. There's a really sweet couple of 360 photos on Google Maps
and the sheer volume of dolls that are on this island, you will always feel like you're being watched.
You need to go find some pictures of this place. We'll have some on the site, surely. But
We'll throw some out on Twitter.
yeah, this is scary stuff.
That's going to do it for our episode this week. Thank you for joining us at the fire.
I'm going to consider this a two-parter. We're
Yes.
going to be continuing with, I guess, sort of a mishmash of stories from all over the place. Just whatever we find, whatever we think is going to scare you the most. That's what we're going to be sharing with
Because
you.
we all know how badly everybody wants to be spooked during the best time of the year.
And with that in mind, if you have a tale that you think could frighten others, even if it's a short story, drop us an email, let us know.
Tweet at us, follow us on
Yeah.
Facebook.
If you don't
and-
feel like writing out your story, just send us an email. We can get on the phone or whatever. We'd love to hear from you.
And if you like what we're doing, share with your friends. Now is the perfect time of the year to put a spooky story in someone's ear. We also want to give a huge shout out to Marcia of Michigan, who is our third winner for the Halloween grab bag giveaway. So thanks for supporting.
Congrats.
Yes, congrats.
Is that the big one?
No, the big one's next
The big
week.
one's still coming. All right.
big
yeah.
one's still
oh,
coming.
that's a good one.
Yeah, so
But Marcia, you got some awesome stuff coming your way.
thanks for the support.
Yeah. We love you.
We love you so much.
I love you.
Well, on that note, we're going to take off for the night. We hope that you'll join us next week for part 2 of the Halloween Spooktacular
I've got some
two-parter.
super creepy shit planned. Lock your doors, people.
Yeah, you don't want this guy knowing where you live.
This is, well, no, the story is scary. I'm not scary, the story's
They've already
scary.
invited you into their
They've
homes and
already
their
locked their
cars.
doors, Jillian. All right, good night, everyone. Thanks for listening.